Thanks for staying with us on The Business. Now, from the Middle East, we move to the Far East, where Australia is trying to rebuild after floods devastated infrastructure and ruined thousands of homes and businesses across the eastern seaboard over the past month. Now, the floods shut coal mines, ruined crops, washed away roads and rail lines, damaged bridges and destroyed thousands of buildings across the major states. 35 people were killed and damages estimated at over $100 billion were incurred. To make up for the loss, Prime Minister Julia Gillard has announced a new income tax which is expected to raise about $1.79 billion.
The great floods of this summer have been a national tragedy, not just a natural disaster, because of the awful loss of human life. The great floods of this summer have destroyed billions of dollars of wealth and robbed us of billions of dollars of income. In time, they may prove to be the most expensive natural disaster our nation has ever seen. We are grieving. We are burying the dead. We are thanking the many thousands who have helped for their courage and selflessness. We are moving from crisis to recovery to rebuilding. Now is the time to count the costs and to start to rebuild.
Economists expect the rebuilding effort to add to growth in 2011 and 2012, but the new tax will only apply in 2011 and 2012. A ratings agency Standard & Poor's has cut Japan's long-term sovereign debt rating for the first time since 2002, saying the country's government lacked a coherent plan to tackle its mounting debt. Reuters reports that the Asian nation's rating was reduced by a notch to AA-, 3 levels below the highest possible rating. The downgrade provides a sharp reminder to other developed nations, such as those in Europe and the United States, of the growing concerns about the debt built up during the global financial crisis. But analysts maintain that Japan is unlikely to default on its debt because of household assets valued at about 1,400 trillion yen. Global investors are bracing for what could be the end of China's relentless economic growth. According to a quarterly poll of 1,000 Bloomberg customers, 45% are expecting a financial crisis in the People's Republic within the next 5 years. An additional 40% anticipates a Chinese crisis after 2016, while only 7% are confident that China will indefinitely escape the turmoil. The worrisome side to all of this is that any Chinese financial emergency would reverberate around the world. The total value of China's exports and imports last year was 3 trillion, with about 13% of that trade being between China and the US. And in the same week that the report announced Toyota as the largest automaker for a third year running, the car company announces yet another recall. The affected brands this time are its luxury Lexus vehicles and about 240,000 vehicles also involved. Toyota says the cars could have a problem with their fuel pressure sensors, which could lead to fuel leaks. Lexus owners in the US can take their cars to a dealer for free spare parts. The affected models are the 2006 and 2007 Lexus G2 300 and 350, the 2006 to 2009 Lexus IS 250, and the 2006 to 2008 Lexus IS 350. Toyota also announced an unrelated recall of more than 1 million vehicles sold outside of North America. An inspection team of IMF officials are in Greece to review the embattled nation's finances ahead of the fourth installment of a rescue package from the IMF and the EU. The team, which will be in Greece for 2 weeks, will be looking to see if Greece is implementing its next series of measures which include wage cuts, streamlining state-owned companies, liberalizing regulated professions, and collecting taxes. The IMF team will also assess whether a sweeping pension reform last year was enough to contain public spending on pensions. Unions have called a 24-hour strike for February 23rd over the measures. Public sector workers who have seen their salaries slashed by up to 15% have been most affected by the belt tightening so far. Greece is suffering its deepest recession in almost 40 years, partly as a result of austerity measures. And this is where we wrap up today's update of the business on NN24. Until our next edition, I'm Bimbo Awoyele. Thanks for watching.